And that's probably the biggest challenge for garages is just the choice. And it tests where their loyalty is. Is it to the factor? Is it to the staff? Is it to the brands? It's too easy to say that, oh, no, it's a fitting problem. I think it's a process problem.
This episode is sponsored by BM Catalysts, Europe's leading manufacturer of catalytic converters, DPFs and front pipes, helping to keep vehicles running cleaner and greener. Welcome back to Garage Talk Unwrapped, the podcast with me, Vicky.
And me, Ben. I'm so glad when you read the sponsors. I really am.
I can tell.
It's such a relief when I hear you doing it. In this episode, we're going to be talking to Toby Whewell, Sales and Marketing Director, and Holly Brailsford, the Marketing Manager at Fras-le Mobility UK. We'll be discussing all things braking, bearings, and the future of the aftermarket.
While Fras-le Mobility UK might not be a name every garage immediately recognises, the brands under its umbrella certainly will be. Juratek, Abtex, Fras-le and Nakata all form part of the growing portfolio supplying products to workshops across the UK and beyond.
We're going to be discussing how the group fits together, the challenges garages face when it comes to braking and wheel bearings, the impact of EVs on braking systems, and what workshops should also be looking for when choosing components.
So here we go.
So today, in the studio, we have Toby Whewell and Holly Brailsford from Fras-le Mobility.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Us at our podcast. Toby, we'll begin with your good self. Before we get into braking and bearings, tell us a bit about you. How did you end up in the automotive aftermarket?
I kind of fell into it, really. I left university, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and my mate had talked to me about a telephone interview he just had for a recruitment firm. Didn't really fancy it, but needed some interview experience. Did a telephone interview, got through that, went to an assessment day, and it became apparent that it wasn't a recruiter. It was a recruiter working on behalf of LUK. He lost interest. I gained some interest. I quite like cars. And yeah, it seemed a good fit. They liked me. I liked what they were offering. And I kind of fell into it.
Fell into it as most people do.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, don't we?
We do, don't we? What's your role within Fras-le?
Currently, I am Sales and Marketing Director. But up until recently, it's also been product management. And yeah, I've done that for probably 7 years now. 7 of the 8 years I've been at the company.
Excellent. And what about you, Holly? How did you join the aftermarket?
I bet you can't guess that I also fell into it.
No.
I know. Typical trope of the aftermarket.
Yeah.
So I left university, I was working at a recruitment agency and a job came in for a marketing assistant role at my previous place and I told my boss at the recruitment agency I wanted to go for it. It's a bit awkward, but I'm glad I did because I wouldn't be here now if I'd not got that job and so on and so forth.
What's your role?
I'm the marketing manager for Fras-le Mobility in the UK.
So how does that differ to Toby's?
She does the work.
It's like when we're in meetings and we say, we've done this, and he's like, the royal we.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So Fras-le Mobility UK might not be a name every garage recognises yet, but the brands certainly are recognisable. Toby, do you want to explain how the group fits together and what brands sit under the Fras-le umbrella?
Yeah, so for years we were just Juratek and we were known for LV braking and it was relatively simple. When we got acquired by Fras-le, one of the first things we did was we moved the CV from Juratek into the Fras-le brand. Made sense. It's an OE friction company. And it quickly became apparent that we were trying to sell Fras-le, which is a really long-established brand, from a company called Juratek. And it made the marketing quite clunky. Then when we started talking about introducing Nakata, it didn't make sense. And around about the same time, the Brazilians had the same kind of idea. They have, 20, 30 different brands that they own. And they needed something to fit across the top of it in order to make it make a bit of sense. So Fras-le Mobility was born and it all of a sudden sort of started coming together. And when we went to Automechanica Frankfurt a couple of years ago, you could really see the idea of what we were trying to do, because rather than trying to have a brand and then promote other brands, it was one corporate identity with house of brands underneath it is how they discuss it. And it means that we can talk about each brand and its history and heritage and narrative, because each of these brands has got its own story. It's got its own life cycle in terms of where we are in the UK. It just made a lot of sense.
Marketing joy, Holly.
It's fantastic. No, it is really good. Every day is something different, and yeah, there's always something going on.
How do you market all four?
Like Toby said, every brand is at a different point of its life cycle and like sort of brand awareness and things, and requires a different strategy really. So it's, yeah, like I say, it's interesting. We get to work on every brand identity in its own right while trying to also then tie it together with the Fras-le Mobility umbrella. So it's a challenge, but it's good.
And when you bring the brands together and you say strategy, is it scale? Is it specialism? Or is it just offering a complete solution for that client?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of everything. Actually having the different brands enables us to focus on the brand identity. You've got Fras-le. It's a massive company in Brazil. It's market leader. It's OE on trucks. You've then got Nakata, 70 years of history. Again, original equipment on some chassis components. They've all got these rich histories. The other option would have been, as many companies have done successfully, is you have everything under the Juratek brand.
Yeah.
But we felt that would have diluted Juratek being synonymous with LV braking. So actually having them separate enables us to focus on the brand and highlight the heritage and all the quality control processes and experience that we've got.
Because Juratek's the one that's known, isn't it, in the UK mostly?
Yeah, and it's the smallest out of the three. Four if you include Abtex. The other two are market leaders in South America.
But that makes it really clear for your customers as well, though, doesn't it? Not kind of diluting that, having it very clear what sits under which brand.
Yeah, we thought so. It's a little bit more work launching a brand.
Yeah.
But it's a brand with a really good story. Okay, it's not known in the UK yet, but we felt that with that story, it would stand out more than it was if it was just us putting a Juratek badge on a product group that we're not known for.
And stories sell, Holly.
They do indeed.
Don't they? And they're easier for marketing to tell, aren't they?
We love a good story. Makes our job a lot easier. So it's totally right with the two Fras-le Mobility owned brands with like Fras-le, the CV brand, and Nakata. We had two really good stories that we can sort of piggyback off. It's made our lives a lot easier, but like, it's still a challenge, still new to the UK market, but definitely helps having that history behind us.
So let's talk braking. So it's obviously safety critical, it's competitive, and it can be quite often price driven. What are the biggest braking challenges garages are dealing with right now, do you think?
Well, it's certainly competitive, and it always will be. It's the biggest product group. It's a congested marketplace, and that's probably the biggest challenge for garages is just the choice.
Yeah.
You've got your traditional heritage OE brands. You've got private labels at every turn now, and you've got everything in between. And where is the point of difference? Especially with all the acquisitions that have happened over the last 10 or 15 years, many garages have been forced into a choice or a change because they could have been using the same factor for 20, 30 years with the same brands. All of a sudden, those brands change. And it tests where their loyalty is. Is it to the factor? Is it to the staff? Is it to the brands? I'd say that's the biggest challenge on the braking side is unpicking the right brand for you as a garage.
How much of the marketing then and sales ploys is targeted towards the consumer so the consumer can ask the garage for it?
I'm not sure it's particularly consumer-led, if I'm being honest. Okay. I don't know too many car owners, unless you're really into the industry, that would go and specify, I want that brand. It's actually quite expensive reaching that larger audience. And every garage is different. You've got some garages that are loyal to a brand. Quite often that is a brand they've been used to over years, so we've got a lot of brand loyalty with our customers. You've got some garages who are loyal to the motor factor. And we've heard garages, I just fit what this guy sends.
Yeah.
So to get that person's business, you have to go and convert that motor factor. You've then got garages who are more wedded to price, and they'll phone everyone in the town and just take a pick.
Usually go for the cheapest option in that respect.
I don't know. I don't always think that the cheapest wins. I think with some it definitely does.
Yeah.
But with some it's more value. And if they think that this brand is, 20 and this one is 22, they'll make a decision, okay, well that extra £2
might get me an extra few months.
Yeah, but it's not so much the where. I don't think that's how garages think. It's It's the confidence in the job being done right.
Okay.
That's where our marketing comes into it.
Okay. And obviously, I mean, parts quality, installation, vehicle condition, they're all major points. What's behind most issues, would you say, out of those?
It's normally a process problem, I think.
Okay.
It's too easy to say it's an installation problem. I don't think it is. It can result in that, but I think that's a bit too simplistic. I think some of it is not identifying the root cause of what has caused that part to fail sometimes. This isn't just on braking. This is on a whole host of stuff.
And that comes back to diagnostics. Can you clear the code?
Pretty
That's
much.
the biggest, for me, that's one of the biggest issues. Can you clear the code? No, because there's a problem.
Yeah.
And that obviously comes back down to the brakes, doesn't it?
It's the same sort of thing. I always use the analogy that if you've got a cold and you blow your nose, you're not treating the root cause. You're dealing with the symptom.
Yeah.
And it's the same as if you have a part that's failed. If you just change that part, you likely, unless that part has worn out, you should expect that part to fail again, because it's a system issue sometimes, whether that's braking, whether that's chassis, whether that's electrical. As vehicles get more complicated and all these systems get more complicated and more connected, I think that's where a lot of the problems come. It's too easy to say that, no, it's a fitting problem. I think it's a process problem.
Are you tired of chasing car parts over the phone? PartSync connects trade buyers with trusted suppliers in one platform. No calls, no delays, just parts. Get real choice, new, used or genuine OEM. Compare brands, warranty, price and delivery. Suppliers, connect with active trade buyers ready to buy your stock. PartSync, bringing the parts industry together. Book your demo at partsync.co.uk.
This isn't background noise. This is Garage Talk, the UK's independent automotive voice, now across 3 platforms. Garage Talk Radio streaming online on Alexa and catch up on Mixcloud. Garage Talk Unwrapped, the podcast, available on all good podcast platforms. Garage Talk Unwrapped, the video magazine. Watch and subscribe on YouTube. Breaking news, big conversations, real workshops, real stories. If you're in the trade, you should already be listening. Search Garage Talk. Turn it up, get involved.
So if a garage is tempted to go for the cheapest option, what risks are they taking? I
think risk is a bit of a peculiar word. I think, there's providing that if you assume all braking companies in the UK are within regulations with Reg 90, there is a minimum standard. I think what differentiates brands like Juratek is the additional work that goes into the value offering. So pads are actually quite complicated, for example. There's a formulation and everyone has a different formulation depending on how they want their pads to perform. So we go on the basis of we want it to be the quietest. So we think that's what the end user wants. They're not really fussed about, whether it lasts 30,000 or 32,000 miles. They're more concerned about the noise. Obviously, they want it to stop their car, but that's like the minimum standard.
Yeah.
So we focus on OE shims. We have a rubber backing plate. All of those things reduce noise. We use the correct dust channels and chamfers. Now, all of those things cost money. We have a bedding in strip on all the front pads. So that means you get optimal performance from the first time you operate the vehicle. And then we also include fitting kits and wellies, so the job's done properly. So the lower price point parts, it's not that they're not going to stop your car. It's that the garage, it might be a bit of false economy.
Yeah.
You might get it a bit noisier. You might be involved in more rework. And if you haven't changed all the ancillary parts, that part might not perform straight away. Then you have to do the job again. And that's where the garages lose money.
This is very poignant for us this week. We've just got an EV car.
They've just slumped back in their seats.
I know. Toby rolled his eyes. So EVs use regenerative braking. Are we heading towards more corrosion and seized brake components because friction brakes are used less, do you think?
Possibly. There's a big debate on actually what we're going to see with EV, because you're right, and it's not just EV, it's hybrid as well. So my last 3 cars have been hybrid, done 100,000 miles, 10-15% brake wear after that. Not brilliant for business. But, and you're right, regenerative brakes means you use a brake pedal less. But you use the brake pedal when you come to a stop. So if you're a bus, a taxi, a working van, they're still going to have the same brake wear, I think.
Okay.
I look at my wife's car and she's doing, school run, 2 or 3 miles to work. She is at traffic lights. She is stop starting. So if she had a hybrid or an EV, I'm not sure she would see much difference in the wear. She doesn't do many miles, so she's not going to be changing brake pads or discs on that. But you're right, on the cars that are doing longer journeys, the empirical evidence we've seen is that you're not going to be changing pads because of wear. You're going to be changing them at the same time as the discs which have corroded. And we've seen, calipers failing a little bit sooner than we'd expect on some of these EVs. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. I don't think there's a catch-all for this is definitely going to happen. I think it completely depends on the type of vehicle and what it's used for.
And how you're driving, yeah.
And how you drive it. There's still going to be people that accelerate, brake.
And Holly, you're not getting away from the EV question. How does marketing change for EVs compared to ICEs?
We definitely need to do something. We've spoken about this. We want to do a lot more sort of product-focused content, and that will be a big thing that we look at is EV spotlight. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Do you think we know enough about it to market at the moment, though? Do you think there's more research needed and more knowledge needed?
I mean, personally...
We are still quite young down the EV journey, aren't we?
Personally, there's definitely more knowledge needed. It's something we need to look at more in terms of our marketing skills, abilities, knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, definitely. Every day's a school day.
Every day's a school day.
Like it.
I think the biggest challenge is making sure that the garages are in a position to work on these cars.
Yeah.
Yes, because if you've got a customer with both, you're going to lose the customer. If you can only do ICE vehicles, you're going to lose the customer of that family. And
that comes back to the training and the investment at certain garages. You're going to have certain garages that they'll never work on EV. So where do those, in the same way that some garages don't do engine jobs or they didn't work on diesel or do clutch jobs in the past, their pool of vehicles that they can work on gets less and less and less. So it's trying to, from a factor and a supplier, it's trying to navigate where these EVs are going to get fixed, and they're the garages to try and communicate with and talk to.
Moving on to bearings, so they don't get talked about as much as brakes, but when they fail, obviously it can be serious. Are modern bearing units more reliable these days or more sensitive to incorrect installation?
Probably both, and it comes down to the complexity within the bearing now. Yeah, 20, 30 years ago, it was a very simplistic Generation 1 bearing. You've now got ABS encoders, they're wired, they're connected to the ECU, and the bottom line is the tolerances are smaller. And so installation is even more critical, and the handling of these products is more critical because although these Generation 2 and 3 bearings, they're heavy, they've got some very sensitive bits of kit on them.
Yeah.
So it's down to, certainly on the Gen 2 ones, it's down to installation.
Is there a frustration that they don't get talked about enough compared to braking? I guess everybody, as soon as you go in, it's like, oh, braking.
It's all relative. Braking is a bigger product group. It's up to us to steer that conversation to what is actually quite a very technical product.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference between a good and a bad bearing. It's up to us to shout about the things that are relevant to the garage.
So on these computers that we drive, with integrated ABS sensors and hub assemblies, are garages facing higher stakes if something isn't fitted exactly right now because it's easy to pick up?
Yeah, well, in terms of rework, yeah. Because if you get the installation wrong, it can put lights on your dash and then you have to spend time rectifying the problem. What that results in is lost billable hours, which is kind of the model of a garage, whether they accept that situation or not. It's all about billable hours. And if you're spending time doing rework, that's money, revenue, profit lost. So
what's the biggest mistake you see when wheel bearing installations are happening?
It's more focused on the Generation 2 bearings. They do best practice is to use a tool, and it doesn't push it on so much as pull it on from the rear. There's a circlip that needs to be located correctly. It removes the risk of damaging the ABS sensor and the inner race if you're trying to push it in. That's the biggest advice you can give.
So for a garage looking at two boxes of bearing boxes on a shelf that look identical, what generally separates a quality product from a risky one?
The manufacturing processes and quality control. Just looking at the box, you wouldn't be able to tell. If you open the box, some products, and this isn't just bearings or brakes, some products look the part. And if they've been machined really well and finished really well, there is a higher chance that the quality control procedures are more robust and the testing, because all of the problem areas of a wheel bearing are generally internal. It's the quality of the grease, it's the correct amount of bearings within it, it's the tolerances and the machining of the inner race and the outer race that have to marry together. Just looking at it, you might be able to have an opinion. It's trying to build that trust.
So you really need to kind of educate and give them that knowledge then about the different products.
Yeah, it's Holly's job, really.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Talking of trust, Holly, are garages engaging more with technical education and digital content now, or do you think price still dominates conversation?
I think price will always be important, but we've definitely noticed, so just as a throw it out there, Juratek, we recently launched a TikTok account, and we've noticed that there's an active community of people, mechanics, technicians and garages that are using that platform and really engaging with the technical stuff that we've put out so far. So we've been doing it for a couple of months, and right off the back, there've been conversations in the comments, people talking about issues they've been having with things or X, Y and Z. So yeah, definitely the technical stuff on the digital side is really where it is at the minute.
That's brilliant.
How do you get the balance between education and entertainment?
That's the fun job.
Yeah.
So we are doing a bit of both, and I think in our minds the fun stuff is what gets eyeballs on the brand, and then that's where we can sort of start to nurture people and get them educated and engaging with things. So it's a nice balance, and it, like I say, it always keeps things interesting.
Ben is a charity for anyone who works or has ever worked in the automotive industry and their families. We're here to listen and support you through life's toughest challenges. Call our free confidential helpline on 08081 311 333 or visit ben.org.uk for online support with your health and wellbeing.
When quality matters and emissions count, demand precision. BM Catalyst is Europe's leading manufacturer of aftermarket hot-end emissions products. From catalytic converters and OE-level components to expert technical training available on Garage Pro, BM delivers best-in-class manufacturing, rigorous performance and full compliance. Need parts you can trust? Visit bmcats.com. Partner with BM. Drive profit, exceed expectations. Abtex supplies brake calipers as part of its braking range. What should garages look for when choosing a caliper, and what separates a high quality caliper from a risky one?
So the biggest difference is on the electronic parking brake calipers. We found that the normal aftermarket motors, they don't last as long and they have a tendency to burn out. We were never really sure why, but quite early on we specified from our supplier that we wanted some OES ones, and it solved any problems overnight. And that's the main difference, to be honest. There's differences in quality procedures and testing, but the caliper is just one part of that solution. If you buy either an Abtex caliper or a Juratek caliper, our customers can marry that with a Juratek pad or an Abtex pad. We have all of our parts linked, which makes life easier to identify which is the right part and does that pad fit with that caliper. But with most products, it comes down to consistency, which is all down to manufacturing conditions, processes, and quality control.
And obviously, Nakata is the final brand in the group, and it's well known globally, but less talked about in the UK. So why should garages begin to pay attention to that now? And as it's, your market, how are you separating what goes where?
So yeah, I mean, we're the first business unit outside of South America to be trusted to launch Nakata. So we do feel the eyes of Brazil are on us.
The whole of the world.
Yeah. Thankfully we haven't got to sell it to the whole of the world. We're just this little old island at the moment. So I think the reason to pay attention is when you look at what's happening in Brazil with Nakata, that is what we're aspiring to. We can see how they've built their brand and the link they have with the technicians. They have full suites of online courses across anything from motorcycles to chassis components to
Trucks,
they own
everything.
Shock absorber manufacturing. They've got a whole suite of all sorts of stuff. They have apprenticeship programs, and they do lots of really, really relevant things that we in time are wanting to bring to the UK. It's just small steps at the moment. So, of course, it's high quality parts from a company that hopefully has built some trust about how we operate and how we are very customer first and easy to deal with. But with the Nakata brand, it's quite exciting because the scope is just enormous. We just have to find the right time, translate everything properly, and find our space in the market to do all this, because there's some really interesting things that Nakata do.
Do you have separate teams just so that team can focus on the brand?
No, because from a sales team's point of view, they have a customer. Well, they have many customers, but if you have too many people talking to that customer, either the message becomes confused, or the customer has a favourite and doesn't want to talk to that one about Nakata. They just want to talk. So we have, it's more of a partnership with our customers. Braking is such a big part of their business. We're possibly one of their biggest bills they have to pay at the end of the month. So we try and understand them as a business, because if their business isn't going well, we probably will sell less. So it's in our interest to try and understand and help and guide where possible.
That's a great way to approach it. So they're having one conversation about all the brands rather than having lots of different people contact.
Yeah, because sometimes it's, and there's some really good loyalty out there. We know that we've got some really strong loyalty on braking, and we talk to them about wheel bearings, and they say, well, I would give it to you, but when I started, this company supported me just like you did in braking. So the best we can hope for is a bit of infill, or if they really annoy that, and you know what, that's fine, because you need a bit of loyalty, especially if you're a new business and you started up, and that's the whole reason that you put your neck on the line, and you hope that it generates that loyalty.
Well, if they weren't loyal to their bearing brand, they wouldn't be loyal to your braking brand.
Correct.
So you'd lose the braking business. So, and is that what you're trying to buy in marketing, Holly? You're trying to buy the loyalty rather than sell the product?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about relationships for us and what sort of value we can add. And we say this all the time, that everything we do, we look at what value is this adding to a customer. If it doesn't add any, why are we doing it? It should always be something that they want, what they need. And I think from a sales point of view as well, that the fact that they get all the added benefits and service and value they've had from dealing with Juratek, they now get with Nakata. So that's kind of helping us sort of market the product as it's the same service you get with Juratek that and you're used to. It really helps with the new brands.
It's trust.
Yeah.
You have to earn that trust over doing the basics consistently over a period of time.
So we've mentioned a bit about vehicle tech evolving. What changes in braking or chassis components should garages be preparing for over the next few years, do you think? Anything in particular? Or
the biggest thing on the horizon is Euro 7. We're not entirely sure how the market is going to react to this. That's specifically around particle emissions being emitted from braking. Some of the levels they're talking about are tough. Challenging. Look, the market will find a way. We'll find a solution as from OE to aftermarket, it'll be fine.
Sustainability has obviously been a big topic for a few years. Is that generally influencing product development, do you think, or is it just more of a regulatory pressure at the moment?
I think the nice cuddly answer is yes, of course. Every company wants to be sustainable, and the bottom line is that being sustainable has a cost. Mm-hmm. So you need the government to pass the regulations to force people and businesses to do the right thing. Brazil have got a massive part of their business to this, but the Brazilians have a very big, different outlook. 70% of Brazil's energy is generated by hydro.
Wow!
So they are quite sustainable. They have to be because the land mass is so vast. To try and have a whole electricity grid would be a nightmare. So a lot of the work at the moment at the factories has been done on making them greener. Greener, not green, I think is difficult for heavy industry. But
working towards is the key there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's direction of travel. And yes, the government can do more. The problem is that regulations bring a cost to businesses that are already having to bear a lot of other costs with other different regulations, from health and safety to employment law to
just insurance costs, example.
Yeah, it all has to come out the same pot.
It does, yeah, and that's what we spoke about earlier. Is you've only got a certain amount of money, and that's marketing wise, you can't be there and everywhere where you'd like to be, can you?
No, but the digital world's great for sustainability. We're not printing things.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're not printing anything.
Yeah, that's why we're getting you on TikTok later.
I've just had doctors.
We were going to ask how you make braking more glamorous marketing-wise, but I guess it's bringing us on.
I was going to say, do you mean braking's not glamorous at all? What do you mean?
But it's like most things in the motor industry. How do you make it entertaining and glamorous?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not the most glamorous industry in the world, is it? But we love it, and that's all that matters. But I think it is part of the fun, is the challenge of trying to make something that can be seen as a bit boring or a bit unsexy, trying to make it interesting and engaging. You have to get creative, think outside the box, and I think that is part of the fun.
I think you have to make it relevant.
Yeah.
You need some fun stuff to get eyeballs on it, but to show the garages that they should open your email or look at your feed is, yes, there's a bit of fun, but there's some relevant content that's actually going to help them.
So what's coming up this year?
Big year this year.
We say that every year so far.
We do, don't we?
It's marketing strategy.
Every year.
2027 is going to be the year of lying down, I think. So we've got two major projects on at the moment. We have got a warehouse extension that we're just going through planning permission. So that's for our Doncaster site. That'll add 25% extra footprint. We're looking at some automation in parts of that. And a different warehouse management system and all sorts. So that's quite cool. That future-proofs us from a capacity point of view. We're not full yet, but if we carry on at the same pace, we will be. And the next project is an extension of the Nakata launch, which is steering and suspension. So that's the biggest core product group in the Nakata portfolio. It is probably the most complicated, and it's occupied us for about 12, 18 months now.
But it's not a big market, is it? There's not many competitors in that. So it's a big...
No, it's dead easy, yeah.
No. But
It's been taking you so long.
But there's a big opportunity, isn't there? Because it's not like the braking market. You only have to go around the corner and you find a braking product from a different manufacturer. Steering to suspension, it's very specialised. If you can get it right and hit the sweet point, it's a massive
I think so. It is becoming more and more congested. So you see that a lot of people have been launching steering and suspension over the last 2-3 years because from an EV point of view, if you're involved in engines or combustion in general, then there's a threat to your business with EV. But EVs have steering and they're heavy and they wear, and the state of our roads mean that it's one of the biggest growing product groups. So we didn't spring into this because we spotted that opportunity. We already have in Nakata a massive steering company. The trick is, which bits do we go with and at what time? We weren't actually planning on doing it this year, but with the launch of Nakata last year with wheel bearings, the uptake was so great. Everyone seemed to love the Nakata brand. It does look good. we just wanted to work on that momentum really. So yeah, we kind of accelerated our plans. We were going to leave it until we'd done the warehouse extension.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, just get it all done.
But it's that popular because it's well marketed.
I'll take that, thank you. No, we do okay.
So one last thing, Toby, give a message to garages.
Wow, that's a heavy question. I think you've just got to think a bit further ahead, and you got to think about what you want your garage to be known for. So it's not just about the parts you fit here and now. It's the help that you'd need and you're going to need in the future. It's partnering with brands and suppliers and motor factors that are actually going to help you in the future. I think that's the message I would give. It's not a buy Nakata, buy Juratek. It's more just have a think about what you're going to need in the future, because we're all in this together and we have to support each other, and there's a lot of information that needs to flow in every direction, both feedback from the garages, information to the garages to help them do the jobs. And it's a constant feedback loop. And I think the garages that are just buying on price and in isolation, they're going to find themselves a bit isolated, but they're actually not really helping the industry as a whole. You know, the things that we have to navigate in the near, medium and long-term future, we're in this all together.
That's been great. Thank you so much for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, if listeners want to find out more about the brands or keep up with updates, where should they go? Go on, Holly.
Well, we've got Instagrams, we've got TikTok, we've got LinkedIn. I mean, I'll have to send you the full list for all the brands.
Just spoiled for choice.
Yeah, literally. So that's quite an actually harder question to answer than it would seem.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such an important part of the car. Braking, obviously, I mean, it makes you stop.
Well done, Ben.
Thank
That is
you.
very true.
But I mean, I think people kind of let their brakes and bearings now until they start making some huge squeaks and squeals before they actually replace them. And I think the key is if you feel that they're on the way out, get them done.
It's all about knowledge, isn't it? The educational piece again, understanding what the parts are and why using quality parts matter. But fair play to them, and having 4 different brands to be marketing for can be quite complicated, I'd imagine.
I mean, 2's enough.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
We did have 3 at one point.
Yeah.
We gave that up.
But no, it's great to hear from Toby and Holly there about also their dynamics now. They work as a company as well.
Yeah, and we had Liv in as well. They're a great team, aren't they? She's full of ideas.
She's full of ideas, full of energy. Yeah, brilliant. Right, that's all for this episode. A huge thank you to Toby and Holly for coming in. You can find out more about Fras-le at fras-le.uk. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And of course, as always, another thank you to BM Cats for being this episode's sponsor, the UK and Europe's leading manufacturer of catalytic converters, DPFs and front pipes. You can find out more at bmcats.com.
Finally, thank you, the listener. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to follow us on all your favourite podcast platforms, and some of that aren't your favourite. Hit the bell so you never miss a new episode.
Yes, thank you very much for listening. Next time, we're talking to Henry from Ring and Osram about the growing debate around modern headlight brightness, answering some questions from my mum there.
Yeah, I was going to say, who started that debate? It was your mum.
And whether today's lighting technology is improving safety or creating new challenges on the road. Very interesting one.
Looking forward to that one. I look forward to them all.
We just look forward to everything.
Yeah, we do,
Have a
yeah.
lovely time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.